price must step down too. Because I'm tired of that too. This is a disgrace.
Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, is facing a lot of criticism due to an ongoing investigation. People are worried about corruption in her administration, with accusations of financial mismanagement, abuse of power, and poor decision-making. Critics say her actions show a lack of care for managing public funds, claiming she misused taxpayer money and mishandled village matters. As the investigation continues, subpoenas are being issued and new evidence is surfacing. This has made many wonder if her choices were motivated by personal or political gain at the expense of Dalton's residents. Public opinion is turning against her, as people in Dalton are frustrated with the lack of transparency and accountability. Many are demanding answers about the alleged wrongdoing, fearing that their leaders have let them down. As the probe goes on, it's unclear what the outcome will be for Henyard or the community. This scandal has shown how fragile the trust between elected officials and their constituents can be, with growing doubts about the leadership. The big question now is whether the administration can ever regain the public's trust. Tensions reached a breaking point during a very controversial meeting that Henyard went ahead with, even though the village trustees had decided to postpone it. The trustees tried to cancel or reschedule the meeting, but they didn't give the required 10-day notice, which critics say broke state law and went against democratic principles. This has led to accusations that the trustees are trying to undermine Henyard's ability to lead. This latest conflict is just one of many between the mayor and the board, showing how much the relationship is falling apart. The dispute over the postponed meeting has sparked new debates about the balance of power in Dalton's government. Henyard's supporters claim the trustees are playing political games and trying to stop her leadership, while her critics argue she's overstepping her authority to get around the board's decisions. No matter who's to blame, this clash reveals deeper issues in the administration, like power struggles and ignoring rules. As the battle between Henyard and the trustees grows, public trust in both sides is shrinking, and residents of Dalton are becoming more worried about the future of their local government and its stability.
Filed a lawsuit against the village, but it didn't sit right not to do anything, and I want to advise.
Tiffany Henyard, the troubled mayor of Dalton, is at the center of a growing scandal involving serious accusations of financial mismanagement and abuse of power. As investigations into her administration continue, one big question remains: how much taxpayer money has been mishandled? Reports are showing a troubling pattern of reckless financial decisions, raising alarms among Dalton residents. The allegations include lavish spending, high security costs, and unaccounted for credit card transactions, all of which are making the public even more worried, especially since the town is already deep in debt. Many residents are asking if their hard-earned money has been used for personal or political gain, adding more pressure as the investigation goes on. With Dalton already facing financial struggles, these new revelations are making people even more concerned about the town's future. Despite efforts to keep track of the town's finances and address the debt crisis, key questions remain unanswered. The most important one is how much taxpayer money may have been misused. This uncertainty has raised fears that financial mismanagement during Henyard's time as mayor is part of a bigger problem, made worse by poor oversight and bad decision-making. The lack of transparency about how public funds were spent is only making things worse, leaving residents frustrated. Already burdened by financial instability, the community is now questioning how much of their tax dollars have been wasted and whether anyone will be held accountable. The lack of clarity about Henyard's financial actions has seriously damaged public trust, leaving the community divided. Critics argue that her administration has repeatedly failed to focus on the town's financial health, allowing unnecessary spending to continue. The need for fiscal responsibility is being overshadowed by reports of excessive spending, unexplained credit card transactions, and high security costs, which many see as unnecessary and wasteful. These issues are only increasing public scrutiny, and raising doubts about Henyard's ability to manage Dalton's finances effectively. Meanwhile, authorities are continuing their investigation, hoping to uncover the truth behind the allegations. Residents are anxiously waiting for answers, hoping for reassurances that future governance will focus on transparency, responsibility, and a real effort to rebuild public trust. The growing investigation has also raised broader concerns about the relationship between leadership and financial management, with many wondering if Dalton's government can ever recover its stability and integrity. As the situation continues to develop, the stakes are getting higher for Henyard's administration. The outcome of the investigations will have significant political and legal consequences, not just for her, but for the entire community. The pressure is mounting, and residents are closely watching to see if the investigation will lead to legal action or a change in leadership. This scandal marks a critical point for Dalton, and the town's future depends on how the situation is handled. With every new piece of information, questions about the extent of the mismanagement and the role of Dalton's leaders are dominating public discussions. The big question is whether Henyard can withstand the growing criticism, or if the mounting evidence will be too much to overcome, leading to a major shift in Dalton's political scene. The allegations against her go far beyond just financial mismanagement. There are growing concerns about the wider impact of her actions on Dalton's governance. Improper financial oversight, careless spending, and questionable expenses have already sparked outrage, especially among those worried about the village's financial health. Critics say the lack of transparency with taxpayer funds, along with the growing tensions between the mayor and other officials, shows a failure to prioritize the community's well-being. On the other hand, Henyard's supporters argue that these accusations are politically motivated, claiming the investigations are just an attempt by her opponents to weaken her authority. They believe there's not enough evidence to support claims of financial misconduct, and that the allegations are part of a broader political strategy. However, this defense hasn't done much to ease public frustration. Many residents feel their concerns are being ignored, while others are calling for greater accountability and action. The growing uncertainty, combined with a lack of clear answers, has created an atmosphere filled with speculation. Public trust continues to decline as the investigation moves forward. The main focus now is whether Henyard will face any real consequences. Will there be legal action, a change in leadership, or other significant developments? The stakes are high, and residents are eager to see if this will lead to real reforms. Dalton is at a critical point, with the outcome of this scandal likely to have lasting effects on both the future of the village and the trust between elected officials and their constituents. Whether Henyard can overcome the growing evidence or if it will lead to her downfall is still uncertain. What's clear, though, is that this scandal will continue to shape Dalton's leadership for years to come. The investigation's outcome will impact not only Henyard's future, but also the community's faith in their leaders. Transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility are crucial in public office, and as the situation unfolds, Dalton's residents are left on edge. They're hoping for clarity and reassurance that their leaders will be held accountable and that the future of their town will be guided by integrity and sound decision-making. Henyard, once seen as a strong leader, has found herself at the center of a growing controversy, facing multiple allegations of financial mismanagement, unethical behavior, and abuse of power. What started as an effort to secure funding for seniors, veterans, and new housing projects has turned into serious concerns about her leadership. The ongoing investigation, especially into Dalton's permitting and licensing practices, has only increased the scrutiny on her actions. One of the most troubling accusations is that Henyard recklessly used taxpayer money, with claims that she misused public resources for her own personal and political gain. The FBI has issued subpoenas for financial documents, including travel expenses, payroll records, and reimbursement forms, as part of their investigation into her financial dealings. Some of the allegations suggest that Henyard blocked certain businesses from getting necessary permits, denied licenses to those whose operations didn't align with her interests, and even allegedly advised at least one business owner to contact her personal attorney when facing challenges with the village's operations. As the investigation continues, these claims are only making the public more upset and raising deeper concerns about transparency, accountability, and the overall integrity of Dalton's leadership.